Welcome to the More Life Podcast, where creatives, problem solvers, and entrepreneurs talk about squeezing more out and finding meaning in this crazy thing we call life. Let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the More Life Podcast. I am your host, if you're new around here, Bart Aniston, and today we have another very special guest in the building. Rebecca Rochon is the co-founder of Pivot and Pilot Creative, which is a boutique agency that creates iconic brands and epic packaging for food, beverages, lifestyle, and beauty CPG products. Rebecca, please say hello to the people. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. Hey, happy to be here.
We know each other. We went to a conference recently together in Atlanta, in Hotlanta, even though it wasn't that hot when we were there.
No, lots of hot people, but not
lots of hot
hot weather. Yeah, it was a great conference that way, eh? I feel like that was the way you got the invite, right? And so
100%, all the hot people had to come together.
Yeah, it was David C. Baker's conference. That was awesome.
Yeah, the Mind Your Own Business conference. Quick tip, don't say that to the TSA official when you're coming into the country. It sounds like a very snarky thing to say. They don't care and they don't appreciate it. I was walking into the airport and they were like, what's your business here? Why are you here? After we landed in Atlanta. And I said, I'm here for a business conference. And they said, which conference? And I just instinctively respond with zero pause, and I said, Mind Your Own Business conference. And the guy just looked at me and says, have a good day. And he just let me move. He was not impressed. He didn't find it funny. He didn't like it. He was just like, get away from me. You're an idiot.
I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he let you through.
Yeah.
Because also, you're a fellow Canadian, correct? And so we kind of connected that way there too. But it's like, you're not supposed to say you're going to any conferences, you know.
Are you not supposed to say you're at a conference?
Well, you're supposed to say it, I guess, technically, and I'm not a lawyer, but I think you should blatantly lie, because otherwise they can tell you to go back to your country if you're trying to pursue business in the U.S. So,
interesting.
Yeah, it's much safer to say you're going to Disneyland.
Got it. Okay, that's very good to know. Clearly, I don't travel as often as you do.
Well, I've been going to the U.S. a lot. Because I moved here.
And now you live there. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're now a professional at the whole shebang. So the reason why I brought this up is I wanted to, we almost had this conversation off camera, and I wanted to bring it on camera. The conference that we were at is very high level, people that are executing at a very high level, and the knowledge that they're sharing is really, really like powerful and deep and meaningful. And it's been almost 2 months. It's about a month and a half since we've been there. How have you applied the information? Because I felt like I was trying to drink from like a straw, but from a fire hydrant as it's coming out. So I'm like, okay, how do I make this applicable to my life?
Yeah, I know. For us, I mean, we just took that and applied it, and now we're the number one in the world agency and worldwide. We won every award. It was a clean sweep. And nice. I owe it all to Mind Your Own Business conference. No, but I did apply a couple of things. I was very inspired by Shannon and Sharon's talks, and I felt like so and also, I really applied a lot to giving my team more of ability to sell in terms of internally almost, and kind of reframing what selling really is. And I found that to be really helpful. So we've been able to, it actually has caused us to start to have new conversations with our existing clients a lot, more productively, and really, everyone's goals change so much. And I feel like we weren't doing that enough. Some of our projects take a whole year to bring to fruition. And so it's important to have those like check-ins, because I think a lot of clients are happy to increase the scope of their project if it aligns with their new goals, or if they want to go faster or anything like that. So that was something I found had a big impact on us. And so in the new year, we'll have some new conversations starting up for sure.
Very cool. Do you now, vet your clients as if, you are the expert? Are you telling them that you are showing them, say, hey, the same way that you are checking me out to see if I'm a good fit, I'm also doing the same thing. I think that was very meaningful. Like, it's like, yes, we are here mutually,
Yeah.
collaboratively, and these are we're contemporaries. Like, we're on the same level here. We're both trying to figure something out, and I think that's really, really powerful. Again, great conversations. I love how small it is.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of avoiding popular things. If everyone's doing it, it's pretty much guaranteed that I'm not gonna do it. So I'm
That's
like,
why you
oh
started
yes,
a podcast.
during the pandemic.
Yeah. That's really, really unique and crazy of you.
Wow.
No, but you're right.
So
It's too
refreshing.
much. It's too much when it's too many people. I completely agree.
Yeah, I much prefer having these more genuine interactions and people that you get to really connect with and see the speakers right away and maybe grab a picture or ask them a question or a follow
Yep.
up. And a lot of the speakers were really, really good. So you mentioned your agency, that your team members, and some of the things that highlights that you've been able to share. I would love for you to break down more than just the little bio that I read at the beginning, what it is you actually do, because there's like that meme from Facebook years ago. What my mom thinks I does, what my
Yeah,
friend
yeah.
thinks I do, what my coworker thinks I does, and then what I actually do. So what do you
Yeah.
actually do in your company?
Well, I would say that we put the spotlight on our clients. We give them the ability to stand in their spotlight as well and garner the right attention that they want from the market. And so what we're doing overall is we're like, from a practical standpoint, we're doing great packaging, market positioning and branding, and helping our clients to fund their business that way and raise funding, let's say, with powerful decks, a great, clear brand, and then launch their company. So building out their packaging and help them launch it into the CPG space and into retail, and then grow their business through campaigns and photo shoots, video shoots. Those are some of the services that we execute, but on a grand scale, overall, we're really making sure that our clients look like what they're worth and look like something that will attract their audience and keep them in the headlines. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you have a business partner that you guys have been working with since the inception of the agency.
Yeah, my co-founder is Alejandro Quinteros, and he is the creative genius behind the brand, and he really leads the execution of projects and all of our design team and our team. And then I'm a little bit more on the business side. I do most of the CEO activities, and we actually both met in art school at Emily Carr in Vancouver, Canada. And so it's been a
Wow.
long friendship. Almost feels
Yeah.
like a marriage. We talk every day. There's ups and downs. We fight. We make up. And when we have our little children every day, that's, I don't mean that in a patronizing way or anything, but I just mean we care about them like we're building our team and managing that and talking about it all the time, what our next moves are. So yeah, it's rare that co-founders make it as long as we have. And I think that's
How long has it
that's
been?
something. It's been about 8 years in our business, but I think we've known each other for
Yes.
20. We must have known each other for 20 years now or something. So yeah, he lived
Wow.
with me in
Oh my
college, and
goodness.
yeah.
You just never stopped that college experience. It just never ended.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we've definitely gotten better at what we do, but it's we've kept a relationship steady from that point. So yeah, but we're not dating in real life or anything. He's super gay, but we're besties and
Yeah,
we make our business work. Yeah, so
that's
it's been a great
awesome.
mix that way.
The journey that you talked about just now with Alejandro,
Yeah.
how do you go from, my roommate in college and we're in art school and, hey,
Hmm.
we should start a business? Because a lot of times truthfully in school, there are these moments where you're like, oh my gosh, we should totally do this. And then no one ever actually takes an action step to be like, no, let's make a business plan. Let's try to think of a name. Let's make this something into reality. How do you go from like casually saying, we should do this for real to actually taking an action step and doing it for real?
I mean, yeah, you need both people to be equally excited for sure. Because I'm sure that's probably where most of the problem lies, is if it drops off because one person is less motivated or one person's too risk averse or something like that. But how we did it was we were both in a similar situation at the time. We were new in our careers out of school, and I was in animation. I was a storyboard artist, which was super fun. That's what I went to school for. And then he was a designer. And so we were working at different places, and both of them just felt like such a grind, and it just didn't align with how we saw our futures. So for me, it was like expected to stay till like 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. and no overtime pay. It was a pretty rough environment. And I don't know why, maybe it's because I was deprived of sleep or something, but I went up to my manager at the time, who was staying even later than us. And I was like, you're the goal. You're like the dream job I would get after working my ass off here. What are you making? I just want to know. And it was like $3 more an hour than me. And I was like, okay, I'm glad I asked, at the time that I did, because I was still so new to working in a job. And so I thought, I'll work my way up, and I don't know. I just didn't know. But anyway, something told me to ask. And so I was like, you know what? That's not enough for the amount of work he is putting in. If I put the same amount of work into my own thing, we would do better. Alejandro was in a similar position. He also needed to stay in Canada. He's from El Salvador originally. And the company he was working with was like not at all, wouldn't make him an employee, which was actually illegal. And he needed that, right? And so we were like, what do we do? And he also just wasn't happy with like the amount of work he was putting in for what he was getting out of it. And so we were just both like, what do we do? And then he got a job from like a government grant job for a little motion graphics piece of work. And he was like, hey, I need like you as an animator to help me. I'm going to do the design. Like, let's make this little project happen. I'm sure it was something like $300. Like, I have no idea. But anyway, we worked on it together, and I was like, this makes sense. This makes sense. And I have an entrepreneur as a dad, and I was just like, I always thought of it in my head. I want to do my own business. And I had a gardening company when I was younger as well. That was like my first taste of being an entrepreneur. And so I kind of took the initiative, I would say. And I think Alejandro would agree as well. We actually have a podcast episode called How We Built This on our podcast, CPG Unwrapped. I don't know if that's bad to like talk about our podcast on your podcast.
But watched part of it.
Okay, yeah.
Part of it. I'll link it inside the description.
This one was an audio only. I don't know, but sorry, what were you going to say?
Because it was on, I saw your first stuff on, there was a video clip.
Yeah.
And I guess you talk a little bit about how you start in one of the video clips. And then you say, go check it out on Spotify. And then I went on Spotify and I scrolled down and I found the episode. I was genuinely interested. Like, okay, how does this all work? How do you, work backwards from the conference? How do I find out more about what you do?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So that's good. You do your research. You're a good guy. You're a good host. A great host. Award-winning. Soon.
Award-winning, of course.
Yeah. and I think from, where was I with that though? So I just took the initiative and I was like, hey, like, this is working. Let's start something. And we kind of started on the side, slowly kind of let go of our other jobs over the next little bit there, and just started doing whatever work we could out of my apartment, his apartment, out of like coffee shops, doing presentations to our clients and on our laptops, and just slowly figured it out. But yeah, we actually made our name in one day, because I talked to a lawyer and he was like, oh, if you give me your name by like tomorrow. I'll just do it at the same time as this other client and I'll give you a discount or something. And so I was like, hey, Alejandro, like, let's think of a name for our company. And he's like, okay, like, let's, maybe we'll think of some ideas today. And I was like, no, like, it has to be today that we make it.
Yeah.
We don't have any more time. So like 4 hours, let's go. And so Pivot and Pilot came out that way. We thought it would be a good way of summarizing how we do things a little bit differently or think of something different and can like and how businesses do need to pivot a lot to navigate the market. And then Pilot is like guiding them through it, being or maybe launching things. But
I got it as soon as I read it. I'm smart.
Oh, good.
I figured it out.
I woman-splained it to you.
You woman-splained it to me?
Sorry about that.
How dare you? You're gonna get canceled now.
I know.
So there's a gap that happens, like from having raw skills, let's say design, let's say animation, let's say storyboarding, to marketing and offering services. How do you, and everyone has to go on their own journey to figure out how they want to figure this out, but how do you mind the gap? How do you like, okay, I have these skills, but what's like my minimum viable product here? What am I really offering? And how do I make it so that like I'm profitable month over month, especially when you're first starting and it's very daunting to be like, well, I can't just put on a business card, storyboard animator. That's very limited and niche. And it's not that you can't work with that. It's more like, how do you convert that into being, I'm a marketer for CPG and RTD, like all the other things, all the acronyms.
Yeah, I guess I really like the phrase by Blair Enns, where he says that, and maybe it was David C. Baker. They're I feel like I merge them a lot because they're friends.
Gossip Girl.
Yeah. No, Blair Enns from Two Bob's podcast with David C. Baker. And he said you invent your agency one client at a time. And I think that's true. And
that's too true almost. It's too real.
Yes. And so I think we took what we could get at the beginning. We were like, hey, who trusts us with any I don't know why there we go. I was like, who will trust us with accomplishing anything for their business? What we do is very, very visual, right? So not having examples directly, like every time we kind of thought about it as if we were like funding our portfolio, our initial portfolio. Yeah. So we kind of took jobs that we just didn't even think about profitability. And I just don't think we didn't pay ourselves very much. And I just don't think that we were necessarily profitable or anything. We definitely started with just like, how do we make sales and get the work at all? Like, and it was a lot of friends that we met in design school. And I think like their parents and things like that. Cause one of them was a really wonderful, like real estate agent. And his daughter was just like, I don't want to ruin the relationship between me and my dad. So can you please do this design work for him? I don't want to even try, I don't want to work with him directly because I love him still. And so we were like, okay, we'll take it over. And it was super, it was just so nice. We just had a few of those really great initial, we tried our best. I think we are very naturally entrepreneurial. We wanted to deliver value. We were very genuine the whole time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like we got these like clients that were our like absolute fans and were just like, hey, I have this for you. Hey, I have this for you. Like we just got very lucky in that way. And, we did deliver. We definitely delivered premium work and then, and more than what they paid for every time, right? We over-delivered constantly in the beginning because, we were funding our portfolio. That way, then we could show, once we had a good start, we could show the next client, this is what we've done. It's worth what it's worth. And then we could kind of figure out, could it be profitable at this price? Could it be profitable at this price? And we were learning a lot in that stage. So I don't think much was that profitable, We kind of determined our salaries around, like we didn't build our salaries in necessarily from the beginning. We were kind of just taking out what we got from each project,
Yeah.
And then we did, and then over time, I'd say like year 5 or so, we started to get more of these consumer facing projects that were exciting. And we noticed a gap in the market for packaging where people would get this beautiful design, but they wouldn't know if it was compliant or retail ready. And so there's a lot of compliance issues that you have to consider when it comes to like the nutrition table. In Canada, we put French on every label. Like there's just certain rules and regulations, even the materials for the packaging. And so we had that practical insight and there was a need for that. And so we gained a lot of traction that way. Yeah. There's something that keeps popping up on my, do you hear it still? Or hear me still?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It should be fine. There's something that keeps popping up. Something just keeps popping up like a Siri thing or something. Yeah, Siri keeps popping up. I won't say her name anymore. I wasn't saying it before.
Go away, Siri.
Yeah. But yeah, from there, once we had our niche, then once we had our niche focused with the CPG stuff, we just started to think about marketing. We didn't really think about marketing. Everything was quite natural. We would have done shows and speaking events and things like that and just meeting people and having those like initial clients recommend us to people. And then, we were like, we need to figure out marketing. So we've started to build that out with our niche. But we have served other clients too. So yeah, we're not sure what will be next for us, but we've just always tried to stand out and make it simple about what we do, but it's hard. Yeah.
I totally agree. There's just a lot of different things that happen in the course of a career as a marketer, and you kind of have to reinvent yourself like you're Madonna, like every couple of days you're like, oh, okay, good. And then eventually you reach a point, which I'm sure you guys felt that when you kind of hit that kind of groove of like, oh, we're going to do the packaging design and making sure everything is, compliant and all that kind of stuff, where it kind of just felt right and it felt like you guys, and you kind of like dig a little deeper, that this is what we're doing. Because there's a point where you're just trying to survive. You're just like, I'm just trying to pay these bills, and if people want to work with me, I want to work with them. And then you get to a point where you're like, okay, now is this the right person that I should be working with? Is this the right person that that's going to help me do the best caliber of work? And you want it to kind of mean something as well. Not all designers are created equal. I think there are some functional designers who do it as a function, as a means to an end, and there's some people who are more artistic or more closely related to their work, and they want it to be representative of who they are and their ability to solve creative problems. And so you want to work with specific people that can challenge you, that can help you express yourself, that can help push you in ways that you never knew that you can solve problems these ways. Because the campaign work that you guys do, the artwork, the visual identity stuff that you guys do is absolutely amazing. I do have to say, it's very, very good. And I would love to know which of you, if any of you, or how of you, or when of you, where does all of this, art direction inspiration comes from? Because I see, like, even like, let's say, like on your website, you have a great video that pops up of like a couple of different brands that are all stitched together. Are you guys taking people from A to Z? Is that really what your positioning is?
Yeah, I'd say that we do that. I'd say that our positioning is like we have that industry specific vertical, and then potentially I think people do really, it's what every agency says, but I do feel like people really enjoy our storytelling. I feel like people are attracted to our authenticity. And like you said too, we do take them from A to B. It really is about getting, like, leveling up their business and helping them launch initiatives and marketing initiatives. It's like making sure that people look like they, like, once you look at them and spend a few seconds in their, like, creating a world for the client. And once you have that, like, world established through your brand DNA primarily, and then executing that and making it consistent everywhere, when you create that world and that lifestyle behind your brand and that aspiration, then your people are going to be able to understand who you are, who you're for, and why you're different right away. And it needs to be fast now, more than ever too. We're in the TikTok era, but it's like, it's always been the case that it needs to be fast, it needs to be efficient. I find that people have too many key messages, and they don't know which one is the most exciting and which one, and then it dilutes their messaging in the end, and it makes it a bit less memorable. So
That's me. That's what I suffer from. I need a doctor. I need someone to come and help me.
Yeah, maybe we need somebody too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's great. You can do, I'm sure you guys have seen this, heard this, experienced this. You can do so much for others, but doing it for yourself becomes a challenge because you're so close to it.
Yeah.
So, we do great identity work, web design work, different marketing assets and stuff like that. But doing it for a creative partner for my agency, that's challenging. And you mentioned, you guys said, after a while you wanted to start focusing on marketing and not just relying on referrals and stuff like that. How do you what's your marketing, what's your marketing strategy? Like, how does the marketing agency have a marketing strategy?
Yeah, I think that we're one of the very few agencies that have a YouTube channel. And so video has been something that we've been investing in quite a bit, and a lot of effort and time. And we've even brought on a full-time like content creator and video editor that so we're trying to get consistent with that. So I think that came out of the pandemic primarily, although we did start it right before the pandemic. I just have seen so many great, I just think it's so important to build the digital footprint. And we also have like our podcast, right? Like what you're doing. And that can be a great way to connect with people and leverage other connections. Now that YouTube the pandemic,
YouTube is actually our best social media platform in terms of getting real community engagement and converting those community engagements into leads. No other social media platform does it better than YouTube. So we're in the same boat where we're doubling down and saying YouTube specifically, a video overall, but YouTube specifically for us, just because the monetization, the cross-platform integrations, all that different stuff is so powerful. The fact that YouTube, the algorithm now will show shorts to you. If you like the short, they'll start recommending longer videos to you, like full-length videos. There's a lot of really good things that happen there. And you're right. There's not a lot of marketers that have YouTube channels.
I think people don't really understand the amount of work it takes. And so that's why you see them start and fail off. And so for us, just trying to get it even consistent has been our goal. That's going to be next year. We really are going to do the 1 week, one video or piece of content per week. And shorts have been wonderful. We've also had some success with reels. But for actual conversions of work, I would probably say LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has been a big, big investment of us. So we've primarily been we did start by focusing on Instagram just because that's our favorite platform personally to spend time on. And LinkedIn, like how Instagram is kind of like, you're scrolling through and you're like, I'm ugly, I'm not good enough, my life is shitty. Then you go to LinkedIn and that one's more of like, you're a failure, you'll never be successful, you're over 40 or whatever, right? And then so that one was one that we avoided for that reason, just because we thought like the culture of it was like, I don't know, just personally, it was hard to motivate myself to open that up. But then we just, you just need to give it a shot. And just give it a little bit of time. And we just started to kind of, after forcing ourselves to spend time on it, we were like, no, we're building a lot of actually really nice connections. And the CPG space in particular is amazing and so supportive. And so that just ended up being like, now we love LinkedIn. Like we went from like avoiding it to loving it. And that has been the main way that I've made connections in the US and at conferences, and that's the main conversions we've had. We don't get like the most likes on our posts there. We get more listens or video watches, but it doesn't matter. I think they still see it. And we've even had people say like, I like your video and that and I feel like for me, what it's doing is it's giving people, it's so that the first conversation is had without me being there. So if they can get an impression of me by watching a couple of videos and then they reach out, it just makes the second conversation so much easier. So we're still, definitely subscribe if you want to support, but it's everyone listening, but I feel like, it's a slow build. Like we only have 100 subscribers or so. And I feel like as of this, but even with that, the leads are happening. So I don't know. I think it's just so powerful. It's more about the views, I guess, really but it's pretty cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube is a very unique place. We had a video pop off that we recorded a year ago. A year after that we have published it, it just started growing at like December last year. But we published it in June of last year. And then it just started getting like, I don't know, maybe like 1,000 or 800 views.
What was it?
Month. It was how to start a creative marketing agency. And it was one of those videos.
That's cool.
Because we had a video to be scheduled to record. And it was one of those that I did not plan. It was not scripted. Because at that point, we were starting to script videos and write out what the entire objective was going to be for the video. This one, we just had the overall idea on how to start a marketing agency, how to start a creative agency. And of course,
so it was like more natural.
It was more natural. And people, and it was like 20 minutes
so funny.
long. It's a long video. I know people are like, I still get comments on it like every single week.
That's awesome.
Week. People are like, dude, this video is amazing. You should have made this into like a 3-part video type of thing, right? Like,
I guess you could, because it worked. You could do it again. But it's like, you're so right. The ones that you put like the least amount of thought into or happen really fast are the ones that end up doing really well. And it's so annoying. But yeah, no, there's so much like, even just self-esteem wise that you have to kind of change when you go through being a creator and putting yourself out there. I feel so ready next year to just not be blocked at all. But this year I couldn't help but feel like, and then for women, it's like, for me, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to put on makeup today. Like I just can't, I have to just work, and like things like that. So there's just all these little things. It's not just the content itself. It's really the switch of like, I'm going to put myself out there and really, really trust and not care about what people say, and I mean, you have to care a little. I don't know. It's hard for me not to care, but I'm working on it.
Good.
I guess.
Is good, but in balance, everything in moderation. Video is taking us a kind of a loop. I wish I had the budget to hire somebody full time. Just because the amount of video we produce, even without a full-time person, is crazy in terms of the reels and the YouTube videos, and we do a live every single month, and we have a podcast.
You guys are killing it. Like that's a lot. I actually am shocked to hear that you don't have a full-time team, but you're doing it all yourself. Yeah,
I'm not.
Okay.
I need somebody. We have a video person that we had a great video person maybe like 6 months ago. They just disappeared. God bless them. I don't know what happened. I hope they're okay.
Oh my God. It happens sometimes. That's a crazy situation. We had a client once pay us their deposit and then literally ghost. And I was like, wouldn't you want the money back? We didn't even start. It was so weird. It was so weird. I'm like, is the government going to take this away?
Yeah, you're part of a money scheme now.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he was just like throwing it. I have no idea what happened there.
Trying to get rid of the money.
Weird ghosting stories.
You mentioned that you moved to the States to expand your business, but also like it's part of your personal life. I'm assuming to live there. You like it there. I'd love to know how. I'd love to know how you are finding it. How is it helping or improving the business world? And how does it affect your personal life? This is the More Life podcast. We want to know these deep, hard-hitting questions.
How is it affected? What was the last one?
How is it affecting your personal life? Like, is this a good transition? Is this a good bet? Like, you're betting on yourself to like, I'm going to go down here. It's going to be great. And we're going to grow the business. It's going to be X, Y. I know you didn't move there specifically for that, but I don't want to say it. I want you to say it because.
Yeah, well, it was to grow our business, and we were looking into LA, because of the different markets you're thinking of, was for CPG was LA, and then New York and Austin. We thought about Miami too, actually.
All the cool places.
Yeah, we also want to make sure they were cool places. Yeah, really fun places. And I love all of them, but Austin,
Omaha, Nebraska.
No, I didn't. And Austin was like honestly just one of the more affordable options, and it also was something that like, so on the side I like to do stand up, and my fiance, he's a stand up, and so there's this whole movement to Austin basically because of Joe Rogan.
Yep.
He's like, now there's just tons of comedians moving in, and so that was also something that affected that decision. But a big part of it was that a lot of our clients are like, we've found that because especially in CPG, it's about selling, and any business really, it's about quantity. For our business, it's a bit different. Like, we can change our pricing depending on how busy we are or how much demand there is. However, with packaged goods, you're stuck. If you're selling these AirPods for $250, they're going to be $250, and you just want to sell more. And so it's very common that our clients would launch provincially and succeed, and then decide, do I want to access 30 million across the whole of the Canada, right? Across all these different provinces, logistics, tons of shipping's exorbitant, all this stuff. Or do I just go to Texas or one state? Like, Texas is 30 million people, right? And so it was happening throughout the years. And then especially with COVID and everything, people started to have to be like very, very careful about where they would launch and what moves they were making. And so that was something that it just became more and more of a conversation. But I think shipping is really killing a lot of CPG companies, especially the newer ones in Canada. And so why not just, store some in the US and start a business there, right? So we've been finding that happening a lot, and helping our clients in Canada access the US. So that's been our primary kind of client this year, because I've been here for 6 months, going to like 4 networking events a week or like 3, depending on the week. And just kind of, because that's how I initially built my business and our business. I would say that it was from boots on the ground, like meeting people, being involved in the community, doing talks, that kind of thing. And then so here, I'm doing that at the same time as like keeping the business in Canada. Like, we're all remote, so it's nice. And then from there, like, we've been here for 6 months, and we have got a client from Austin, and that's from that work, and then so slowly I feel like we'll start to gain more US clients, of course. That's the goal, but a big part of it too is helping the Canadian companies that work with us. We have that unique differentiator, in that we can help them expand here too, especially Texas too.
That's another big thing, right? Is the differentiator. Hey, we have an office or we have a branch out in the States that can help facilitate your expansion into a large market compared to trying to navigate Canadian markets because of different complexity that you already mentioned. There's a lot of growth opportunities for marketing agencies, and it's kind of getting saturated with, like, for lack of a better term, marketing bros. I don't know if you know quotation mark marketing bros versus true marketers, people who are passionate about analytics and about strategy, campaigns, and product launching, and all of that kind of stuff. That's like purists, and then marketing bros are like, buy my course. I'm a marketer because I sell you to sell what I'm already selling. And then by you selling what I'm selling, I make money on top of what you're selling and what I'm selling. Because
like a pyramid scheme, like an MLM, right?
Okay, you got it.
Or,
How do you, exactly, multi-level marketing. How do you guys stay pure to the artistry of helping businesses? Because I do genuinely feel that true marketing companies or agencies or marketers can be parachuted into any company and should be able to help, right? Like, you're basically the access point or the conduit to the outside world, and you should be able to help. How do you keep yourselves true to stay in the first category of people who are here to help people versus productizing so much that you end up only caring about profits and dollars?
Well, maybe, I mean, an MLM is a very different business model, like, and pricing
For
model
sure.
and everything. It's like you're buying in, you have to buy in, like, you have to, in order to start your business, you have to buy products and then you're kind of reselling
Right.
them, right? So, like, it's, I don't know, but for what we're doing, it's more like you're paying for a website or a service and then we're delivering on that service. So it's like, in that way, I'd say it's fundamentally different because like they're almost selling like the kind of, I'd say the definition of an MLM or a pyramid scheme or a scam is somebody that is selling a lifestyle more than the actual product. So they're like, oh, like buy, you know, a classic, and you said bros, but in my case, it would be like girls that are in my DMs going like, hey girl, like, hey girl, want to sell this hair product, right? And, or hey friend from, like, I've never talked to you since high school, but I'm selling this lash cream, but they're not, they say maybe one sentence about the, I don't know, eyelash like lengthening. Yeah, totally. There'll be like hair shampoo, I don't know, lash like serum. I don't know what you call it, like to make them grow.
Yeah.
So they like condition them. They get us at every turn. Women are like, you're like, you don't even know. Like, they're like, your left tooth shining pad, like, here you go. You know, like, it's like, they'll find anything. They get us in our sleep too. We have like silk pillows and like, you know, they're like, don't wrinkle in your sleep. You'll be done to society. Yeah. Everyone won't talk to you anymore. And make sure you always sleep on your back or else you'll be gross.
All your hair will fall out.
So, but I would say like there's one line about the lash shit, right? And then and then it'll go into, I'm making so much money and it's unbelievable. And, you know, like this business has changed my life. I have freedom. I make money with doing nothing. And, it's you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to sign up. And if you don't sign up by tomorrow, our business will go under. So do it. Yeah. And that would be more of like that kind of tactic. Whereas like we're definitely building, like we're helping our clients like build a brand and delivering them logos, color scheme. It's crazy
that they use the same word. They use the word marketer. They would call themselves I'm a marketer, and you would say I'm a marketer. And so I'm just like, man, this is such a crazy world.
I know.
The one word means different things depending on who you talk to it. It's like it's kind of like the OF girls who are saying, well, I'm an entrepreneur, and it's like, well, it's not the same thing as like building a business or purchasing a company and running it more efficiently to produce a profit. That's not, because you can't necessarily sell this. You can't grow your entrepreneurship into a business, into a company, and sell it to another person. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's not the same, but I know what you're saying, but it's not the same thing as like, I'm a business owner.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like the word marketers used every 5 minutes, the word entrepreneurs used every 5 minutes. I actually don't describe myself as an entrepreneur because of you're an aura marketer. I actually don't even bring that. I say like branding, but even that, it's starting to be everyone does branding or whatever. So, I mean, I guess you just have to just keep proving and highlighting the value and really basing all of your contracts on the value you're going to create. I mean, we always have a discussion with our clients, like when we're signing them on, we're like specifically like, what do you want to achieve by working together? Yeah. And then we will work backward on that. So if you want to be in 1,000 retail stores by next year, let's make that the goal of our working together, right? So that there is a, you know, if they come to us and they're just like, I want a logo, you know, that's not going to be our ideal client.
Right.
Sorry, one sec.
No worries.
Sorry about that. But that person that's just like, I want a logo for $300, they're not going to be the right fit.
First of all, go. Okay, take that line one more time. I want that line in there.
Okay. I'm dying. What happened?
Sorry that I'm laughing at you, but it's the hilarity of the situation. I'm not laughing at you.
People are going to be like, we cut. So I just think that was really hurtful that you said that to me, and I bet you're going to cut it out. I bet you're going to cut that part out. And I just want your audience to know that you said something really, really sexist to me.
Yeah. You mansplained this to me. I'm not an entrepreneur myself, and I haven't made $100 million to date. I've been running an agency and a marketing company forever.
What did I say? Oh yeah, if somebody's like, oh, I want if someone comes and reaches out to us and they're like, I want a logo for $300, like they're not the right fit, you know? I don't think that's
100%. First of all,
yeah,
ew, go away. Like if you see because especially like if they've seen your Instagram or LinkedIn, if they've seen your website specifically, and they think that they can get a logo from you for $300, what earth are you living on? You need to go and check yourself, because that's just not right. There's nothing wrong with having $300 only to spend on a logo. It's a matter of adjusting.
There are options for that. There are. If you have $300, like you can start your business with, like there's $5 logo generators, and it's like, I'm honestly not even saying like don't do it. I'm saying do it, because you get your business started however you get your business started. Like if you need to hustle to earn that first amount of money, you do it, right? It's just a completely different service that we're providing.
This is not that. Like as long as people understand.
And they can get it later. When they can get it later. You know, I think everyone should start in any way that they can. Like start making the first moves and then refine from there, right? Maybe get official branding done once you're like, okay, this is working. This has legs, you know? Because there are definitely people that, like we did take on some clients that in the beginning of our business that were like not ready yet almost. It was like they kind of expected that if it looked shiny, that would do it all for them. Whereas like what we're doing is really like amplifying and simplifying the way that people understand what they're already doing. Like if their product tastes disgusting, let's say, we can maybe make someone buy it once, but we won't be able to make them buy it again. Like it has to be good. Same with service. If they purchase your service and then they don't come back, like you might be able to woo someone once by making it super shiny, but it needs to be accurate. It needs to reflect something that's different and new. And and so I definitely found that some of our clients initially that we took on weren't quite ready for it. And I might have, like now looking back, I might have said, hey, let's have a couple like coaching calls a month, but like you should pursue building the brand first and seeing if the product, how people are receiving the product, and then go from there.
Yeah, it's very unique because we're in a position where, like I said, we help people, and so sometimes the outside perspective just becomes very valuable. I never realized how valuable my perspective was until you start dealing with other
idiots,
and charities and people. Idiots.
Yeah, and then you're like, wow, I'm really smart. These people are dumb. There's a lot of dum-dums out there thinking they can do stuff. No, just kidding.
To that point, there is no respecter of personhood on whether success comes to you or not. I've seen people who have no plan, no organization, who just somehow have a business. I know somebody, I cannot say who it is, please don't ask me, who has a business worth multiple millions of dollars, who makes profits, but they are scrambling all the time. They don't have a marketing plan. They have branding, but they sell a product and they have locations and they're able to operate, but it's absolute chaos and they don't necessarily know what they're specifically doing, but somehow, some way, success has found them. And I'm just
but like, do you really know what you're doing though? I didn't, and I still don't really in the end of the day.
Extent, of course.
But you just mean it's like really surprising that it's successful based on what you've seen under the hood. Yeah.
Yes. When you meet somebody and you look under the hood and you're like, really? This is making money. Now, like you just said, the imposter syndrome of starting your own business is very real. And there's a lot of different stages or phases to that cycle of like, I'm horrible. I shouldn't be allowed to live. All the way back up to like, I'm an expert. Everyone else is an idiot, right? Like,
Yeah. I'm on fire. Yeah, yeah. I have the answer in the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
She closes 2 deals in one day. Is everybody else crazy or am I just perfect? Right?
Yes. And then the next week you get rejected twice and you're like, I'm a loser. I'm never gonna make it. Yeah,
I'm never
100%.
gonna make it. We should call Alejandro and close down the business.
Yeah. We do have those calls with each other and we go like, let's give it another week. How about that? Like sometimes I'm like, no, like we need to stop doing this forever. I'm over it. And then he's like, let's just give it like one more week. Like, like I think we can do it. And then I'm like, okay, one more week. And then at the end of that week, he's like, I'm scared. And I'm like, no, like we're killing it. Like we got to keep going. Yeah. So it's up and down. It's a cycle forever.
Forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever contemplate, and I know we're going to wrap up soon, do you ever contemplate, how do I word this? Contemplate the next step of your entrepreneurship journey?
I thought you were going to say ending it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
no,
really dark.
Just kidding. Okay. No. But what were you going to say? So the next step of the business? All the time. Of course.
Yeah, it's a rhetorical question. I'm like, what happens in 5 to 10 years? Are you still slanging products? And are you still slinging, web design and or product design and branding and packaging design? Or is
yes, but from space, but in the metaverse. No, what was the second part of your question? Sorry.
The second part of the question is like how.
No, you were like, because you're like, would you? Are you going to keep doing the same thing, or are you? I know it's okay.
So would you like use it as a platform? Would you use it as a platform to kind of like move to the next thing? Like
yeah. Well, I definitely see that. Yeah, I see 2 simultaneous businesses that we're kind of building right now, which is the content. Yeah, content creation, and then also the actual services side. Yeah. And then eventually, I do think we do want to launch our own product. We're not sure exactly what that will be or when that will happen, but we'd like to brand and launch our own product of some kind. I have some ideas that have to do with like dogs, and then Alejandro has some ideas with makeup. He's like very talented with makeup, and he does really beautiful line art.
I have a great idea for you, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah? What is it?
You might need like a cosign, and I'm here to help cosign, but I'm not here to do all the product development. Skincare, especially protective skincare for Black males.
Oh yeah.
We think we're invincible, and I still think that I'm invincible. Like, oh, what? It's really sunny outside and UV rays are blasting? Yeah. I got melanin. I'm fine. You don't know that I'm Black? I've been Black since I was Black, and so because of my Blackness, I don't have to do anything for my skin in the sun. And I'm just like, no, guys, that's very wrong. And you need to be protecting your skin every day.
Yes.
So the way that, I know we don't age the same way that white people do, or other cultures or races or skin tones do. But at the same time, if you have skin, it's a living organism, and UV rays help can help damage that, and you need to protect against it. And I'm just like, it's such a underserviced community of people who all have the problem. We all have the skin. We're just not doing anything about it. We're just like letting life live.
I think you were onto something. And there's a women-based Naomi Watts. What was Naomi? No, it's a or maybe it is she the tennis player? Or no, it's not. She started a sun cream for black skin specifically line. But that's for women. I mean, you never know. There could be a better gap for men and integrating it into. Yeah. But I think something like that. Exactly. And I think that it has to serve an actual need in the market and gap that, and as well as something that can be very, like pop branding wise. So we're just like we're not forcing it. We're just kind of taking in ideas just like that one and like thinking about what do we really want to, because it's a huge ordeal to start a CPG brand, but we want we want to do that and just push it and make it something where the marketing can be really fun and kind of have them help each other, right?
Yeah.
And so the service-based business, I feel, will be it's going to continue to be quite like exclusive and boutique. We're not going
Yes.
to expand our team. That's not necessarily my goal. I think I would love to be in a place where I would like to be maybe like 10 employees total and maybe 20 brands a year that we like, companies that we work with or clients a year. And I think that would be something ideal for us. And that's just because we do build real relationships with our clients and we become like friends to a certain extent, right? And partners. And so partners to a certain extent too, of course. But it's something that like, that's what I envision more. And I do think, so it's sort of 3 businesses long in like 5 years. That's kind of what I would see. Initially, right now, we're working on the Austin expansion while also figuring out the content creation thing. And that's overwhelming enough. And then on top of that,
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
It's a very
we'll think about it.
You know, there's so many different ways to look at the end game or what that looks like for you and leveraging and all that different type of stuff. The best thing that I've heard is, you know, most people start off trading their time for money, and then beyond that, then they set aside a product or you know, something that's systemized that kind of helps them make money without it. And then once you get those 2 things locked in, then you are truly free to do whatever you were, maybe your first love, your first passion project, that you finally get to say, okay, now I get to do the thing that I've actually been dreaming of and been wanting to do, because you have that stability and that you know, stableness. Rebecca, I feel like I could talk to you for a really long time, but we must end it. All good things must come to an end. I'd love for you to tell people where they can find your content, where they can find your company, and guys, go check out their website because it's really fire and it's very like I very much like your website. I love your presence online. Let people know where they can find you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was awesome, and same to you as well. It's hard to start a podcast and keep consistent with it, and I definitely admire what you've done. Also to have these real conversations, it's been really fun to just talk today. But for where we find us, it would be CPG Unwrapped is our podcast and our YouTube channel. For me, I'm at Rebecca.Rochon, Rochon, for Instagram, and Pivot and Pilot is our agency name. And you'll find links to that if you go to either Rebecca Rochon or CPG Unwrapped. I'd love to connect, and don't be afraid to send me a DM or a message. And I'd love to help out any way I can.
Awesome, guys. This has been the More Life podcast. Once again, if you find this content helpful or helping you in your business, please give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe wherever you're listening or watching.